Oh. Do you have my emotions? Oh. I don't think it's fine. Invite. Is this how? Wait. Oh my god. Oh, okay, okay. Invite. Ah. 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 Oh fuck, I'm so stupid. I'm like, why the fuck can I hear anything? It's because my headphones aren't on. Hello? Can you hear me? If you can hear me, blink twice. It's not like you can. Let's see. I'm sensitive. Fake. Oh my god, I'm gonna shit myself. Hmm.
And
It's fart? Oh my god. Sorry, I'm holding my puppy. Can you hear me? Okay, so you can hear me. Did you invite KG? I tried it. That's whack. Wait, what is the button for pushing to talk? Oh my god, that scared me. How do I push to... You know what? I don't need to do that. Okay, okay, okay. Okay, just give me one. Dang, who's typing? Your mics are kind of... Wait, can you talk? Your mics are kind of loud. Or let me see. Puppy. Puppy bark. Puppy bark. I have my puppy with me right now. He smells absolute... No. Can you imagine if you could? Yeah. Um... Think forever. No. Watermelon? I think my puppy... I literally just got my puppy the other... I know Genuine's dog is scared of, him. So... No, I'm just joking. Well... This is the, Hachi is the server's dog now. So... He's cross-eyed though, so... Just... He's not the brightest, so you just gotta make sure, you know, if, you want him to look at you, you gotta put a mirror to the side because his eyes goes two ways, you know? Literally, no. So when I was getting him, I was like, oh my god, I'm in love. and nobody wanted to adopt him because of his eyes. But yeah, but that was the thing though. Everyone was like, "Oh my god, I love him because of his eyes, but I don't want to adopt him because of his eyes." So I was like, "Huh, okay."
Maybe he is too. He is too.
No, I think he'll fit. But he's only 12 weeks, so I can't cut his hair yet, which kind of sucks because he's overheating a lot. So like when he's sleeping, he'll what is the word? So he'll lay in bed and then after like 10-15 minutes, he'll jump off and then lay on the floor because it's cold, like the hardwood floor. And he'll just like lay there for a good 30 minutes or so and then he'll jump back in bed. But then it's like a back and forth, like he does that. And I'm like, oh my God. He's such a rat though. Hurry up.
Hold on.
Oh,
How
goodness.
big is the game?
It's not that big. We're just patiently wait, I should see it because I think Shadow. Wait, that's wrong. That's wrong. His name isn't Shadow. What was his name? You're lying. Oh my god, oh, did you guys hear that? Yeah, I was like, you're lying. He is not peeing right now. Oh my god. Because he's been no, okay, listen. So the only fuck up he's done was that he peed for his territory and then after that he was like fine after that. We just put puppy pads where he pissed and then like after that he was good after. But yeah, he goes right there and like we give him treats, that's why, because I guess that's I don't fucking know how to train a dog. I never had a pet before besides an axolotl and fishes. So this is a exactly. Exactly. So no, it has a proximity chat. So the voice chat's in here. That's great. No, so dude, like but we took him to my uncle's house. Oh my god. I think I jinxed it. Because I was like, huh, Hachi hasn't pooped yet. And
Hey, what's your?
I invited you. And he started and he like started squatting and first they were like, "Oh, he's going to pee." No, dude. He fucking shits. And I'm like, "Oh my god." And so like my partner swooped in, hand in and everything. Is J underscore Nix on your Discord? No, I don't think he is. Or I wonder if he is. What? Did you join? Are you joining? Yeah, I see
Yeah,
it.
okay. Boop, 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 boop.
So we have one, two, three, four. How many in total? Six?
Not biting the cord. Dog's gonna get killed.
Probably. Let me see. I think Broman, are you playing? You get to the sub, so I just wanted to say thanks. Oh, yeah. So can we I love nacho, bro. Oh wait, I have Chipotle. I'm good. Oh my god. So I don't know if it was okay yet to give the puppy steak. But my partner's like, no, we're giving him steak. And I was like, I don't know, bro. He's literally 12 weeks. And then he ended up eating steak today.
He'll be alright.
If he shits everywhere and it's liquid shits.
It was like a single piece of. Hey,
Oh,
no.
he did it. I think he'll like hop on eventually. So Roman, but like, I think he would join on, but I can see if he is in here. Also, Broman, are you also gonna play with us, or is your PC not updated yet? Because I know that's what you said was the problem. Let's see. How do you freaking search people on
You
Discord?
need to change your
I don't know how to do push to talk.
settings.
Okay, settings. Audio. Okay, but what button?
Run.
Oh,
Controls.
controls.
Here you go. Hey,
Hmm,
scroll all the way
is
down.
it this one?
The V.
Oh,
All the way down.
okay.
You go. V.
Oh, okay.
Top.
So,
Work.
bitch. It works. Okay, cool.
Testing. Testing.
Okay, genuine. Is yours on push to talk as well?
Testing.
I'm just gonna watch this. You're good. You're good. Oh no. Okay. Are you ready? Are you ready? Okay. Out of all the words you could have used to tag, what could I have said? Bitch. Oh, sorry. Beaches. Can you hear me? Okay, we're starting. We're starting. I literally don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm gonna shit myself. I'm excited. Okay. I wasn't paying attention. Sweet. Wait. Fuck that. Mm.
Oh, I think we're taking. Hurt me. Hey, 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 hey.
Wait, where are you guys? Oh,
So
how do you
it
break
looks like
shit?
we need to grab stuff. Put it in
What the fuck? You bitch. How do you grab stuff?
something around.
It's crazy. Yeah, friendly fire is not tolerated. I don't know. I literally have absolutely nothing.
Guys, I found the duck. The duck is not good.
How do I take it?
The duck is not friendly. Oh, oh!
Hell? What
It's
the
gonna run.
fuck?
Oh, oh, oh! Well, Mars dead.
Well, what the fuck?
I said the duck isn't friendly.
I didn't know what I did. I just clicked it on accident. I'm sorry. Let me, let me learn the controls. Okay,
Holy
jumping
fuck!
space, crouch control, sprint left shift, tumble is Q, grab left.
Holy fuck! What the fuck is that?
What the hell is this? Ego. Did you die? Did you die? Oh my god, literally, it's literally just Golden. It's literally just you.
So I don't know if you know, but yeah, you could take that. You could take that piece that you just found, and you could throw it at us, and it'll resurrect us. About to lose a level one. Oh yeah,
Yeah, we all died, dude.
he's not friendly. Not friendly. Oh, can't. The duck's just in the road. He's dead. Okay, well, he's breaking the game.
What the fuck? Why didn't you die?
Is it just one of our heads?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think he can.
He's literally just staring at your head.
Shit, if I was alone, I'd be scared too.
Wait, where'd the duck go?
He just randomly. There's also two like big ass around.
Mm.
Yeah.
Is the duck the only monster on this one?
Oh,
No.
so if he brings enough money to this thing, that'd be fine stuff.
They talk like Canadians on South Park. Well, that's ironic. Everyone's Americans. I think he's scared.
Can he not hear us?
He's so, that's
He
so
just
sad.
walks by it.
Well.
So about that, take the. He's about to find Mars egg.
Yeah, where is my head? Oh, okay,
Oh,
okay,
so
okay.
both of our.
No, yeah, I'm not. Wait, did you genuine? Did you put who put my head in the cart? Wow, wow, wow. Our whole lifeline is running on Colton.
Two IQ. The duck felt bad and then white tap. Oh,
Wait, why didn't I get revived? There we go. Oh, nope. Not making that mistake again.
They didn't wipe half our team. Why do you like me, dog? Dog.
I'm in danger. I am in danger.
I'll throw my Farouk.
Our dog's literally knocked out. What are you talking about?
I barely tapped it and killed. Oh shit, we could buy things? No, what?
What?
Fine for us.
Bleh. I just burped. I'm so sorry. I didn't realize.
So should we just play this slow? Oh. Ow. Well, I found $2,700.
I'm literally finding nothing.
How much do we need? Oh, love playing 500.
I contributed $600.
Oh, I don't like this room. Go in that room, guys. Hey, yeah, just don't go in there. Holy fuck, guys! There's something coming at us. Yeah, there's
Wait,
an
where?
enemy coming at us.
Where?
He's in the room to the through here to the left.
I saw you broke something. Somebody broke something. Oh, dude.
Oh, what the fuck was that?
Do you need assistance?
No, I'm hearing shit fucking like growling.
What the fuck is that? 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 What the fuck is that?
No, it's not.
Shut the fuck up. No, it is not.
Yeah, real friendly, guys.
I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I'm scared. Ah! Do we just do we just
Somebody
do we
doesn't
just
play football.
do we just do we just avoid?
Yeah,
Do
I
you
think it's voice. Oh my god. Mar, move, run! Mar's just staring at it. Oh, that's great. Mar's like, I don't think it's hostile, and it fucking just beams her, and
are you alive
she
again?
just keeps standing there.
You motherfucker! What the fuck? I was offered a sacrifice.
Just killed him.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Get in there.
When did you die?
Me? I died first. He like, I was like, hey guys, I think this guy's not friendly, and he just beamed the entire room. He's like, he's friendly. You do have a voice of
What you say?
can't hear you.
What did you say? Oh, I'm
Oh,
so
yeah, hold on,
stupid.
hold on. Can't hear you. Yeah, whenever we're dead, he can't hear. Hey, good night, Ken. As he's in that room. What do we do now?
leave the money. Ooh, he's right there.
So hit control because it looked like he can whenever he shoots you or tries to shoot at you, you can go. Come on, Mark.
I'm coming. Hold on. Okay. I'm small, 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 small. I'm very
Come on,
small.
Golden. It totally didn't just.
You know, if I just hide here, I think I'll be okay.
Oh, got some scotch.
Oh my goodness, where did he go? Bro.
Ours lost. Dog married and everything, but
So, where is everybody? I'm hiding.
welcome back.
Where do I go?
Gonna help more. No.
I hear it. I hear. I
Oh,
hear you
behind you,
guys.
Mark. Behind you. Oh my God, there's a gnome falling. Oh,
What the fuck?
hey, there's a gnome.
Fuck! What the hell?
I say this is my room, not your room.
That's crazy. No, he's just playing.
What?
Roman asked if you're streaming.
No, I'm just playing. Oh
Wait,
no.
why is it attacking you guys, but it attacked me? That is so unfair.
I have 1 health.
That's crazy.
He just blew up the door.
Mm-hmm.
Am I the last?
How do I check for? No,
Anybody around me?
genuine is there. I'm golden. Got the ship. Go back to the truck. Go back to the truck.
Oh, I'm dead.
Well, so does it mean that it's just them? Oh no. Okay.
I tried running back, but.
You little fucking shit. That's crazy.
Say
What?
Marco. Say Marco.
What the is going on?
Yo, we can get a grenade.
Dude, what the fuck?
Wait, so if we're going to the next one, do I heal? I didn't hear you.
How do how do you use this? Wait, how do you use this? Okay, but how do you buy it? Oh. Okay, okay. Well, I don't know if it went through.
Hey, I can take back my grenade. It's okay. Mark, Mark. Oh my goodness. Hey, what is 21,000 minus 21,000?
0.
He looks at me with side eye.
I was literally about to go get the sword, but then I was like, oh wait. So we're broke bitches now.
Wait, how do I use my husband? Oh, okay. All right, guys.
I'm gonna shit myself. Oh my god, I barked. I'm so sorry.
So do I just fucking lob it at him? Sacrifice. Fuck around and find out. Hey guys, that looks pretty. That looks pretty scary.
Why are we all stopped here? What was that?
Hey guys. Hey guys. Hey,
Oh
run.
my god.
Hey, go the opposite way. There's a guy with a shotgun. I hit him with a grenade.
Do we hide? Are we hiding? We hide? What are we doing?
What the fuck? Who fucking brought Ed in here? There's an alien walking around.
Did I hide? I'm
Uh,
gonna hide.
yeah. So one is blind and one isn't. So you're going back to base right
That's fine. Oh my god, he's nearby.
now.
Let me hide under the sink. Do they come to base?
Yes.
No, this is me. Are you dead?
Just me.
Who's coming?
Hold on.
Hey, what's up? Yes. Oh, you just shut the door. Should I hide behind this? I hear it, 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 I hear it. Who died?
What's up with the alien dude?
So, what's up with the alien dude?
It's just y'all two.
Damn, sounds like a
How do
badass.
you counteract?
Does levitation. You know, I think I'll just let all the guys do all the work. I can just sit here in the bathtub. Crouched down. Ah, look at the ceiling. So nice. Very nice. I'm hungry. I want to eat the rest of my Chipotle.
Or not make a sound.
Please, sir. I'm just a girl. I'm just a girl. Please. Don't so have to be the honey me. Do I
What are you doing?
lonely? I am so lonely. I have nobody. All on my own. Just so lonely.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I threw a
I'm
grenade at him,
being
and whenever we were
carried.
like, "Oh fuck," I like
Oops.
ran, but he definitely got fucked up because of.
Blah, blah, blah. Did I move?
Have you seen the Alien?
Oop. Nope,
Yeah.
that's too ominous for me.
Have you seen the Alien? Yeah, I died to the Alien.
A giant what?
Oh yeah, I was hiding, and the
Okay.
Alien. Nice.
It's like it's not even moving.
These guys. Are what? Oh, another 1,000. Are stuck on the plane.
Done. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Hold up. Let me position my okay. Oh my god.
Mars, stop dragging it on the ground.
Bring it up, but I can't.
Mars is minus 1,000, minus 1,000, minus 1,000. 10 grand.
I tried my best. Did you get their heads? See, guys, I did something. Turn around, bitch. Let me give you some of my health.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So you grabbed them by the neck? Oh, you grabbed them by the neck and then. Hmm. Okay, okay, okay. All right. Why are you crouching?
Shut up.
Dude, how dare he close the door on us?
Pick your name.
What the fuck? How?
All right. Let's not keep screaming. Who's near? Hmm.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Where'd Golden go?
That's a good question.
I think the alien thing is upstairs. How much more do we need?
So there's 16.47. What?
Hey, so yeah, let's back up.
What happened?
Silent. Stop moving. Oh, shit.
Fuck. Can I move?
Yeah. Let's say let's
It's right here. Wait, no, it's right here. The extraction.
we just need a few.
Oh,
Need like 2,200 left. 2,200 and 3.
I don't really trust
I
myself.
know where to get one. The only place I haven't been.
I'm scared though.
If you see him, just go crouch.
here.
Rah!
Motherfucker. Damn.
Boom!
Fuck you. I hope. Fuck you. Right
Do not come near me.
there. The shotgun guy's downstairs. Gonna go. Jesus Christ. Wait, let me give you some more health. I did absolutely nothing.
Nobody's found golden.
Oh.
Can I say that again?
Whoa.
Oh, you better run.
Oh fuck. I'm stuck. I'm dead.
Can't do it.
That's crazy. So apparently you have to press tab to find like valuable items and stuff like that. It's to make it easier. I didn't know that. Yeah, I died by the alien. Is there no way to fight the alien?
That didn't work out well.
Well, it's time for Genuine to clutch again. Yeah, I was confused. I didn't know where to go real quick.
Great criticism. The grenade eject shit. Recharge drone. Ooh, yeah. 75 grand. You try the recharge drone?
I'm just here.
That's kind of cool.
Hmm.
I wanna sprint speed.
Rover.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. Oh, no. Motherfucker, put it back. Just leave.
No.
Like a mark.
I'm here for moral support. What?
You cut it in and out during. Did you say? Oh, so okay, so this is new for you. Oh, okay.
Oh.
There's a box of nothing in here. Would y'all be down to try more horror games like this? Maybe Lethal Company? Lethal Company.
I did something. I contributed $6,000, bitch.
That's my 6,000.
Shut up.
I don't see no 6,000
Do you know how
dollars.
hard it was to carry that? I'm just a girl. That was so hard to carry. Who the fuck is wheezing?
The door. What the fuck in the Slender Man?
What?
Don't go that way. Don't go that way. Fuck, what the fuck?
Oh god, I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking at first.
Bro, what does the Slender Man do? Okay, so just don't look at him. Yep, he can. He can teleport, guys. He's right in front of us. Fuck you, Slender Man. Fuck you.
Team
Pussy.
effort, guys. Team effort. Let's carry this.
Dog, what the fuck is this? Okay, we're already done.
What? Oh.
Nice. So just don't look at him. So if I look at the ground, it's fine. What other enemies are here?
Wait. They went this way. Oh, never mind.
Okay. Okay, you're okay. Okay.
Crouch, crouch, crouch. Babe, crouch. It's something that hacks and everything. Oh,
Hey, hey.
everyone else's. No, no, no. Save it for yourself.
Okay, it's still out
You should have just saved the health for yourself. Oh, genuine died.
there.
The other extraction. Where's the other extraction site?
That's a lot of money. Don't hit it. Nice. Yeah. So, try to pick it up with see. Yeah, it's too much work. That's more.
What did I do?
Guys, start playing some fucking Tetris. Alright, jeez. Mars behind me.
Shut up, bitch. You got it, Golden?
Basically, just robbed all these scientists. You got more?
No.
Okay.
Welcome back. You know, it looks like you need to really pull on your weight in this team. Come on, genuine. God. Wait, 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 wait. Where the heck?
Hey, don't go that way. Don't go that way. Don't go that way.
Oh. Did you? Oh, hello, keep walking. Hey, keep walking.
They're gonna second me. Yell the dog. Sorry, Mark. We don't. Look so proud of yourself.
I need help.
I think we decided we're not getting. Hey, that. Hey, 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 hey. Stop talking to the dog, motherfucker. Oh fuck! You hear it? That's the scissor guy. Hey, we're not getting it. We're not getting it. Golden, we're not getting it. We got two enemies next to us. Yeah,
But
through
wouldn't
this
that
door.
be if we grab that though? Wouldn't that be like?
Shut up, shut up, shut up. Mar, hide. Right here. Fuck you and your mother!
Golden, is that you? Hmm. I think it's time to go.
Hey, we're not good. Right, right.
Wait, where are you? Oh.
Oh, you died again. Yeah, let's try to get to extraction. This is kind of. upwards or down?
Do you know where to go?
That's crazy.
Maybe no flamethrower.
The bomb blew up, bro.
Okay, where are we going? It's over here. So we have to do it. So we have to do it one by one.
Yeah, they can bring the, can't they? Type and shit. Yeah, Mars just really been wanting to try this. Mark, fucking carry that.
Oh, they said we can carry it up.
Don't need it.
Okay, so I heard something laughing. How much is that? Oh, fucking thank God. Yo, you're the goat of this. No, honestly, I feel like we're the worst two to be alive right now. Genuine, can you please stop dying? Because that would be genuinely great. Oh. You hit them behind at the neck. We need you. You're the goat of the team.
No, no.
Hey, go.
I think he's
Don't move.
down.
Wait.
Hey, You're gonna be in here with us. Be down. No. Hey. Hey. Down.
Oh my god, what the fuck do we do?
How do you do that?
What?
Map.
Tab. Where are you?
No. No. Hey. Lay down. Motherfucker, you better give me two. Damn it! Damn it now! Motherfucker, I'm just running. God! Motherfucker!
Are they not here? Oh my god, where's Genuine?
Christ.
No, wait,
Dude,
did
I've been
Genuine
killing
die?
that dog. Alright,
Dude, I think Genuine
while you
died.
do that, while you do,
What happened?
he's just. Oh!
I'm just crouched under the table.
Stop. Hey. No. No.
Okay, so Genuine died.
Genuine. You're an experienced guy. Why are you dying a lot?
Oh, he said he has to go.
Lay down. Did he not respond? Oh wait, did he leave?
Yeah.
He said that he was leaving.
Yeah, I think he left.
Or fucked.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hmm. Bruh. You guys pick out stuff. I don't trust myself with buying stuff. Go buy things that we need. I'm just here.
Hey. Hey.
See.
Stop biting the damn fool. Good morning. Hey.
Babe, go pick stuff to buy.
I have an idea. Hey, give me a second. I'm about to put the dog in. Hey, if you want to be with us, you can't go down there.
Only the
What I was thinking is if we get another like little
what the
playpen.
hell? What the hell? Oh
What?
my god. My character is freaking out.
No.
The Exorcism 2.0. I think we're over the limit. I realized my mic was muted this whole time, so I was talking. He's putting the dog away, and after that, I'm trying to see if one of my other friends would play. Do you think Rebu would play?
This one. If anything, I can hang out and play Battlefield.
I'm doing a weird thing.
Ooh.
Do you think us three can do it, or do you think we'll probably lose terribly? Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Wait, why is oh, I was stuck.
He has to pee. I don't want.
You start that. You just hit the mail thing to start? Oh. I was trying to figure out how to like hold items. Here, you go. I don't trust myself, so you do the rest of it. Oh, you don't need to. Hello, what about the health? Do the health, do the health. And then there's the There you go. Who?
Cool.
Who?
He has a crown because he.
Mm. Mm. Should we just keep the cart right here?
Oh
Fuck you.
my god, guys! Found something $40,000.
Oh, nope. Not today. There's fucking little gremlins. Shit, did Golden die? Golden, did you die? Oh, thank God, I thought you were dead, dude. What the fuck? Pretty cool.
Got 10 grand. What the fuck?
What?
It flies. It's like a magical broom. You. Said that.
We're almost done. We just need like 2.5 left.
You bring this over here? Bring it over here. Need help putting it in though. Perfect. Any games on your phone?
Oh, it's falling. Oh,
No, is it
help, help, help. It
parkour?
fell. Help, it fell.
Whoa!
I think we have enough.
I found a secret.
Oh.
Never mind.
No, wasn't the extraction was back there, wasn't it?
Guys, be quiet. Ah!
What the hell?
Chicken. Hello, dude.
Fucker.
Hey, you're a horror. But you just sit there and you just sit there in the corner. I'm gonna bring that. My bad. You gotta put this cube back soon. No? 23 grand.
How come we
Bro,
only
that's
have
literally our
12?
extract.
Wait, why do we only have 12 left?
Because stuff are falling out. If we can put that staff in or somebody carry it, we put this cube in, we'll have like nearly 40. Is it the little white thing? Where you at?
Wait, wait, wait. Wait, wait, wait. There's a big guy over there. It fell.
I'm just running around. Oh fuck! He's right on the.
What? Oh, what the
Your mom's a
fuck?
pussy.
It's right there. Is it outside though?
Fuck you. Yeah. He's going like towards spawn. Go away, go away, go away.
Hiding. There's a gnome.
You in this room? Hey.
Hmm?
Sometimes with people.
Yeah, hold I'm trying to fucking hold on. Holy shit, that stressed me out, dude.
That was a lot of money. Oh, it's gonna destroy it. It's gonna destroy it. Okay, I guess that works too. It's weird that. Welcome back, bro. Did you see
Hello.
that though? The broom got destroyed, but the big ass lion didn't. It's weird. Good golden.
Dude, we carry that heavy ass statue. Oh my god. Yeah, that was very annoying. Like, I literally thought the thing was gonna, like, work, but then no, it broke.
We get.
Where's the thing? I broke the door. So just go through the left. What? Where? Where were we?
You. See? Oh, grandfather looking ass. You ain't shit, bitch.
Golden, anybody? Where are you? Yeah, dude, all the freaking things. I just like ran. I just gave up. What is in here? What? Oh, frick. Um, you,
Respond.
hi.
Something's there. Boom! Okay.
Do you think this should be
Shut up,
enough?
eat them buds.
Do you think this should be enough? How much do we have right now? I think we should be good. Maybe if we put it at an angle, it'll fit.
Yummy.
Put on off.
Give it back.
And we lost money. Yep, keep going, keep going. Turn right.
Not Reducci.
Wow, 100. So I'm assuming we need another 23. Now we have to go to the left side. Or no, there's one right here, like, if we get out of here to the right. Where are they?
Guys, do not get in the urn. Run, Mark. Oh, they can't get up here. Nice.
All right, we're good. We're good. Oh God.
Don't go that way.
Babe, your PS5.
Hold on, hold on. My dog's shooting on my PS5 controller. If he does break it, I want him to.
Wait, where do we go? Ah, fuck. Oh crap. I didn't know because I was like, what's glitching?
Well, you heard me dying.
I didn't realize. So I feel bad. I feel so bad. Twenty. Well, good luck to us then. Struggling. So we need 23. Let me do my calculator. 23,436 minus 11,487. He needs 11,949 more. Ah, I mean, if he no, I don't think he can do it if he drags the Oh, so that's how you guys kill it? You jump?
Okay.
No, did you see?
What is that?
Sale. He's not gonna make it. I don't think he's gonna make it. He needs 11,000 more. I feel so bad. I mean, hey, he's doing his best. Oh, did you quit? I feel bad. He's trying his best. Welcome back, gamers. Dude, we felt so bad. Like, we're like, oh my god. Last loser standing? What is this?
Fight Barnett. Whoa!
Oh, I think I died. Yep, I did.
Oh shit! Damn!
All right. He deserves that. He deserves that
Wow!
after we left him like that. He's just breaking things now. Yeah. Give him that. Yeah. Is he just stuck? Oh, there you are. King of the losers. Right. We could probably we could probably end it here. And then see if like Genuine is down to play again like another time. Oh well, we already fucking and see like another time so we can have like all of us next time. Yeah. Oh my god. Cause I feel like yeah, the more people we have, it's most definitely easier. Yeah. So
It was.
yeah, it was.
Ask him if he wants to play Freakeeper.
Yeah, dude, I felt so bad. I was like, oh my god. I was like, what? I was like we were just watching you, and I was just like, oh man, dude. I was like, I wish you had more people playing. It was so bad. I was like, oh man. If honestly, if Rebu can get it on their PC, I don't know. I have to ask Broman when he's gonna get it is on his PC. And then I know one of my other friends, they're not home yet, so they're gonna get it. So I think we if anything, if Rebu doesn't play, we still do have other people like three others that would could play. Yeah, so I think we'd be okay. But yeah,
Damn it.
yeah, no, that's fine. We'll still have enough of people. But I know my some of my friends are gonna go get it. So when they let me know when they are able to play and we can play this again, then that would be great. All six of us, that would be really great. Yeah. Yeah, that was interesting. The healing mechanics.
Yeah.
I know like we'll probably get better at it the more we play, but like oh my god, I hate that haunted house so much.
Haunted house.
That was the worst. Yeah, and it doesn't help that like how difficult they were, but yeah, yeah. That was the one thing that was the most difficult thing about it. It was the floating head. So I think yeah, it'd be easier. I think with that level, it'd be easier if we had more people, especially because some of them were like really freaking heavy. Like the ox was one of them. So, but I think I don't know if it's gonna replay that same level. Like it's probably hopefully it does. Oh my god, I'd cry. But if it does replay that same level, like from the beginning, like before our because we're on the third part of it for extraction. So if it starts it back from the front, I think we should probably prioritize the bull. Like all of us will all just bring the bull in to the first extraction. That way we still have more stuff after for the others. Yeah, especially with how close it is to the first spawn. That's probably our best bet. Yeah. And then I think maybe after that we could focus on what is it? Like the squares or something like that. Make or maybe make that the last one. Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, so I think the more people we have, it's more easier for us. Yeah.
Oh, what?
Yeah, yeah. That was you. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so I think maybe we could game plan it, like, have like, well, obviously for the first extraction, we're hands down going to do the bowl, but then we could probably go and like, maybe like, yeah, yeah, and then you guys like after that like split up like pairs of two. We could do pairs of two, if anything, so it's easier and faster. When once we get all the six people. Yeah. All the other smaller items. Yeah. I think like we should probably get that for the smaller items. Okay, okay. Okay. That's good planning. That's good planning. All right. You can go play your D&D now. I'll relay the info to Genuine and Ego and then all the others that are going to join. So at least that way we can like remember that plan once we start or like we can discuss it before we hop in and start the game. Hopefully though, mhm. No, I'm just hoping that it doesn't like restart the all that work we did. I would cry. Yeah. Nice, nice. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That works. No, 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 you're fine. That was that's good at least. I know you wanted to like start it again, so I'm glad you got to. Right? Yeah. Because stream elements can do that stuff too. Like bots and stuff whatnot. I have like a whole mix of like the bots that I use. But if you use like specific ones, then it's easier to keep everything in place because I keep having like another one is Seribot. But so you like yeah, that one that was like the first one I used. It was really easy to set up and everything. And then eventually because of like my redebut, I like changed everything up and stuff. Oh, but yeah, yeah, probably like yeah, when you're like when we hop off, you can like set that all up, figure it out, and then we're all good. You know what I mean?